Picture this. You step into a train station at rush hour. Phones chirp, ads flash, shoes slap tile, voices bounce from metal beams. It is a river of talk and motion. You take one slow breath, step aside, lean your back against a pillar, and simply stand there, hands loose, shoulders low, eyes soft. Nothing about you begs for attention, yet within 30 seconds, people walking past begin to lower their own voices. A commuter who was frowning lifts his eyes and smiles for no clear reason. A child stops whining and stares at you curious. You have said nothing. You have done almost nothing. Still, the noise shifts. That quiet shift is real power. Silent power. Silent power looks like magic, but it is built from 3 plain blocks. Stillness inside the body. Stillness inside the mind, stillness inside the room. Build the first 2 blocks, and the third one happens on its own. Let's start with a story. A busy Saturday market. Cars cram every side street. A car alarm goes off, horn blaring, lights flashing, shoppers complain, a few curse. A teenager tries random buttons on the key fob, nothing works. Then a small, silver-haired woman walks up. She's no mechanic. She touches the teenager's shoulder and puts a finger to her lips. Both of them stand silent for 10 slow breaths. The teenager's shoulders drop. His pulse slows. He presses the key once, gently. The alarm stops. People in the crowd clap. The woman smiles and walks away. Why did it work? Maybe the key signal finally synced. Maybe the teenager's calmer finger hit the right angle. Either way, the crowd remembers the stillness more than the fix. They remember that the quietest person solved the loudest problem and did it with breath instead of bark. Why silence changes rooms. Every room has an emotional thermostat. Most of the time, the setting is random. Part anger, part rush, part joy, part boredom. Whoever steps in with the strongest signal resets the dial. Loud people try to do it with volume. Calm people do it with heart rate. Your heart has an electromagnetic field that reaches out several feet. When it beats fast, it pulls other hearts toward fast. When it slows, it invites other hearts to copy. If you can sit in noise and keep your pulse easy, the room senses it. No speech needed. Try this experiment next time you eat with friends. Partway through, lean back, soften your face, let your breath drop low. Say nothing. Time how long before others slow their chewing or lower their voices. It usually takes under 30 seconds. You just practiced room shaping without a single word. The habit of 3 breaths. How do you build that calm pulse? Catch yourself rushing. Close your lips. Inhale through the nose for a count of 4. Hold for 1. Exhale for 6. 3 cycles. That's it. In a lift, in a queue, before send. After bad news, do it 10 times a day and soon your default pulse drops by 5 beats. Lower pulse equals deeper voice, steadier hand, clearer eye contact. People label those signs confidence. Though all you did was master breath. Story. The promotion nobody predicted. Carlos worked at a gaming studio. He was shy, wrote clean code, rarely spoke up in meetings. The studio faced a brutal deadline. Managers barked orders, designers panicked. In the chaos, Carlos did one strange thing. He set a timer every hour, leaned back, closed his eyes for 30 seconds and breathed. Co-workers joked he was rebooting. Yet when servers crashed 2 weeks before launch, who stayed calm enough to trace the bug in 6 hours? Carlos. His boss asked how he kept cool. Carlos shrugged. I pause, then act. 2 months later, the studio chose a new team lead. Loud candidates campaigned. The senior VP quietly picked Carlos. Reason? When the room burns, he lowers the flames. Silent power wins again. The rule of least words. Silent power does not mean you never speak. It means you use words like a surgeon uses a scalpel. Clean, quick, aimed, exercise. The 20 word. Limit for one day, limit every spoken answer to 20 words or fewer. You will listen more to craft smaller replies, cut filler, like, you know. Notice people leaning in to catch each precise sentence. Repeat weekly. Over time you drop to 15, then 10. Your speech becomes knife sharp. Friends. Start saying, when you talk, it lands. Again, power through less, not more. Story, dinner table. Duel, two cousins, Leo and Matt, both lawyers, spent Thanksgiving arguing politics. Each tried to win by talking faster and louder. The table tensed. Their Aunt Joy, retired nurse, spoke only once. Pass the gravy, thank you. No one heard her, so she set down her fork, folded her hands, and looked at each cousin in turn. One breath per person, eyes gentle, no judgment. The cousins trailed off mid-sentence. Joy said, I enjoy a quiet meal with family. Nothing more. The cousins apologized, served gravy. 10 words beat 10,000. The nod and the mirror. When someone complains, the urge is to fix or defend. Silent power listens first. 2 tiny tools help. The nod. Slight, slow 3 seconds shows you hear. The mirror. Repeat the last 3 words they said, rising tone. Example, them. The schedule keeps changing. You. Keeps changing, they keep talking. While they talk, you learn. When they finish, you can solve once, not 5 times. Less talk, more knowledge. Quiet in conflict. Suppose a co-worker yells, you always ignore my emails. Ordinary reply, defend, list times you replied, blame spam filters. Silent power reply, look at them, breathe once, say, you feel ignored, be quiet. 9 times in 10, the co-worker shifts. Well, maybe not always, just this week. Now, the real problem is one missed email, not your personality. Silence turned a war into a task. The 2-line email, long emails drown in data. Silent power emails rarely exceed 2 lines. Line 1, fact. Line 2, next step. Example, found the bug in line. 57, pushed patch to staging, ready for review. Receivers trust concise writers. They assume clear words mean clear mind. Story. The singer who saved her voice, Rena, a jazz vocalist, played 3 shows a week. She chatted with fans non-stop, posted daily live streams, and by mid-tour, her throat cracked. A coach suggested a vow, no speaking after 9 p.m. The first night felt rude. She waved instead of talking, wrote thank you notes instead of small talk. Within a week, her tone warmed, high notes crisp again. Critics praised her new depth. Less speaking kept the instrument, her voice ready for when it mattered most. Protecting islands of quiet, designate one space, a chair by a window, a park bench, the driver's seat parked under a tree, where no phone, no talk, no music enters. 5 minutes a day minimum. Guard it like a bank vault. Over months, that space gains a gravity field. Step into it and your pulse lowers before you even sit. When silence feels scary, many people fear stillness because it surfaces hard feelings. They blast podcasts to drown loneliness, scroll feeds to mute self-doubt. Here is the rule. Feelings faced shrink, feelings dodged swell. Sit with the lump in the chest. Name it. This is worry about debt. Notice it fades by breath 10. It might return, but each visit grows shorter. Eventually, silence feels safe. The pendulum principle speak boldly right after a pause. The contrast swings like a pendulum, quiet to clear impact. Example, during a toast, pause, look down at the glass, wait 3 seconds, then lift head and say the line you want remembered. Listeners imprint the sudden sound after space. Story, the teen and the coach high school basketball final. 2 seconds. Left team down by 1. Coach calls timeout. Players expect a complex play. Coach says nothing for 8 seconds, long enough for breath to slow. Then he whispers, lay up, left side. Silence cut stress. One phrase gave direction. Player scores, crowd roars. Later the coach explains, if I talk through the whole time out, they carry noise onto the court. If I shut up, They carry poise. Quick checklist to practice tomorrow. Wake, breathe 10 silent breaths before touching phone. Answer first 5. Messages of the day with under 20 words each. In your longest meeting, listen 10 minutes before speaking. Pause 3 seconds before every reply. 5-minute no input break after lunch. Reflect at night. Where did silence help me today? A father and daughter sit on a porch swing at dusk. Cicadas hum. A neighbor's dog barks twice. The girl finally asks, "Dad, why don't you answer right away when I ask big questions?" The father keeps rocking. 5, 6, 7 quiet ticks. Pass. Then he says, "Because I want to hear the answer before I speak it." The child nods, strangely satisfied, though she never got her original question out. She has learned the porch is a place where space and time stretch, where someone listens to thoughts before they turn into noise. Years later, at her first management job, she will pause the same way before every tough reply, and her team will trust her for reasons they can't quite pin down. Silent power crosses generations on a porch swing. Silence begins in the body, so training starts with one simple drill. Stand barefoot on a firm floor, close your eyes, and feel the micro tremors in your calf muscles trying to keep balance. After 30 seconds, notice the tremors slow. Your nervous system loves economy. When you give it stillness, it spends less fuel. Carry that economy back to your desk. Before you hit join on a video call, ground both feet, drop your shoulders, exhale through pursed lips. You start. The meeting having already trimmed the frantic edges. People may never know why they feel steadier, only that they do. An emergency room nurse once explained her trick for chaos shifts. The pocket pause. Every time she leaves one patient's cubicle and walks to the next, she slips her hand into her scrub pocket, touches a paperclip, and inhales once, deliberately. That single breath clears the previous story. Blood, grief, panic, so she arrives clean to the next person. If she skips the pocket pause for an hour, she feels the swirl. Past alarms echoing in new rooms, heart racing, hands trembling. 1. Silent inhale is cheaper than burnout. A startup founder named Evan faced venture capital partners who grilled him for 90 minutes. Questions grew sharper, almost hostile. At the end, they asked, "Why should we trust you with 10 million when your last company collapsed?" Evan raised his water glass, took a sip, set it down, and waited long enough for one partner to glance at another in impatience. Then Evan said, "Because the collapse taught me what 10 million mistakes look like, and I have the receipts." He slid a slim folder across the table, 3 post-mortem pages he'd written in solitude at dawn for months. The calm sip bought. The seconds he needed to find that single sentence, they funded him. When you pause, you hear subtext. A friend says, "I guess I'm just tired." If you rush to suggest vitamins or vacations, you miss the quiet tremor on just. Hold the silence for 2 beats. They add, "Honestly, I'm tired of proving myself." Now you're at the real door. Solutions change entirely. The medicine was in the hush. Practice the 4-second window when driving. Someone cuts you off. Your chest surges, horn hand twitches, count 1, 2, 3, 4. By 4, rage peaks and drops. You still change lanes, but with logic, not lava. Repeated often, the brain rewires, trigger, gap, choice, not trigger. Deblast, regret. Researchers recorded sales calls from 200 reps. Top closers spoke on average 43% of the conversation. They left micro-silences after tough questions. Less successful reps filled every gap with benefits, features, flattery. Prospects bought from the reps who let them think aloud. Space sells. In long-term love, silence upgrades intimacy from fireworks to ember. New couples light sparks with words. Seasoned partners warm each other with presence. They can drive an hour exchanging nothing but a squeeze on the knee. The quiet says, "We are bigger than conversation." If you fear such quiet, treat it like exercise. Begin with 10 silent minutes walking side by side, phones pocketed. At first, you'll reach for topics. Let them drift away. Soon, the shared rhythm of steps will speak more clearly than chat ever. Kuda Design Agency runs monthly laptop down Fridays. From 10 to noon, nobody types. Whiteboards line the walls. People think, sketch, pace. No one is allowed to present until noon. The first few months felt strange, even lazy. By quarters, and idea quality skyrocketed because staff spent 2 silent hours letting half-formed notions gestate before public birth. Like bread dough, concepts rise better when left alone. Silence nutrients, sunrise light on bare skin, handwriting on paper, long showers without music, stirring soup, hearing the spoon, watching a ceiling fan rotate until thoughts, slow to its tempo, collect 5 such nutrients and dose daily, like vitamins. 3 questions to ask before you break a pause. Is this helpful now? Am I the best person to say it? Will silence already solve half of it? If any answer is no, stay quiet. During hostage negotiations, professionals use a tactic called the delay wedge. They ask for something that takes time, food order, medical proof, then fall silent. The hostage taker, forced into waiting, often begins to talk aimlessly, revealing needs, fears, weapons count. Patience extracts intel anger never could. You may never face such drama, but the principle scales down. Ask a frazzled colleague, can you jot that concern on 1 page while I grab us coffee, they write, clarity grows. Half their fury dissolves. A mother trying to help her son with algebra discovered a calm trick. Every time he sighed, I don't get it, she took her pencil and drew a little empty box on the page. Then she waited. Seeing the blank square, he filled it by writing the next step in tiny numbers. Silence plus white space coaxed him to supply the answer already brewing inside. Digital silence matters too. Turn your phone grayscale for 1 week. Color triggers dopamine. Gray dulls the lure. People report 30% less scrolling with 0. Discipline, because the device itself whispers quieter. A CEO privately keeps a silence ledger. Column A, times he spoke first. Column B, times he spoke last. Column C, outcomes. After 3 quarters, he noticed deals closed faster when he was last. He now schedules calls so others report first, freeing him to finish with decisive summary. The ledger proves what gut already sensed. Mountain climbers carry rest step, a micro pause at each stride, letting the back leg lock so muscles relax for half a second. It prevents exhaustion at altitude. Adopt rest step in conversation. Finish a point, pause 1 heartbeat, then next sentence. Listeners digest, you conserve breath, ideas ascend higher. If you lead teams, hold periodic silent retros. Write prompt on board. One thing that slowed us down. Everyone scribbles. On sticky notes for 5 minutes, no talking. Then stick notes up, cluster themes, discuss. Written silence surfaces shy truths. Noise, heavy voices no longer dominate. Music exists in the rests. Without pauses, notes blur. Treat your calendar the same. Stacking meetings back-to-back flattens. Inside, insert 10-minute silence blocks. Label them buffer. During buffer, resist email. Stare out a window. Ideas rearrange themselves like magnets finding true north. A restaurant critic trained attention by eating alone with earplugs. He learned that a sauce sings different flavors when not masked by chatter. Later, during interviews, he would secretly imagine earplugs in, letting him hear the seasoning in every pause, catching nuances others missed. Children test boundaries with shrieks. Instead of yelling back, kneel to their level, put finger to lips, breathe slow. Many kids mirror your breathing. Unintentionally, mirror neurons at work. Quiet beats lecture. A designer scheduled a 24-hour word fast each quarter. No speaking, no reading, no texting. He walked, sketched, harvested stray thoughts. On return, he produced his boldest concepts. A full day of quiet may seem impossible. Start with 4 hours on a Saturday. Tell friends you're off-grid. Watch inspiration creep out from corners. Silence can soften grief gatherings. At funerals, people often talk rapidly to dodge pain. Offer a hug, sit beside them, say nothing. Tears flow, healing starts. Words sometimes delay the necessary flood. Phone rings. You see a difficult name. Instead of anxious answer, let it ring twice. Breathe, pick up on third. Your hello will sound anchored, not startled. They will subconsciously match your steadiness. A job seeker in final interview round paused before salary talk. Employer asked expectations. He smiled, sipped water, 10 seconds, and replied, "What value do you place on this role, given the impact we discussed?" Silence plus question flipped the frame. Flipped. He got 12% more than top of range. Use silent checkpoints on big projects. No new features, no debates. Only team reads the spec in silence together for 20 minutes. Typos, contradictions jump out. Noise hides flaws. Quiet illuminates. Novelist stuck mid-plot, sat beside a river without phone. Listening to water, she noticed story rhythm, rushing then pooling. She mirrored that flow. Action scenes, then reflective scenes. Writer's block broke not by grinding, but by absorbing nature's silent pattern. If fear of awkwardness blocks you, play the longest pause game with a friend. Take turns asking simple questions. The other waits as long as possible before answering. Laughter erupts, awkwardness dissolves. You learn nobody dies from a gap. Board games teach pause power. In chess, grandmasters sometimes spend 4 minutes on a single move to unnerve opponents. You needn't take minutes, but try 5 silent seconds before answering tough queries. In that gap, strategies unveil. Create a family ritual called 5-minute hush after dinner. Everyone sits, eyes open, just breathing. Kids might squirm the first week. Soon they ask for it. Household tension drops. Political canvassers taught a tactic. When a door opens, state purpose in 1 sentence, then hush. Most homeowners talk themselves into signing the petition simply to end the pause. Persuasion by vacuum. Silence also guards secrets. Each time you broadcast plans, you invite input, judgment, sabotage. Keep new goals in quiet incubation until roots grip. Grand reveal later, when storm can't uproot them. Marketing managers notice comment storms burn brand capital. One bakery decided to respond to online insults with 24-hour quiet. Half the trolls moved on. Next day, the bakery posted a calm fact sheet. Sentiment flipped positive. Delay disarmed drama. Single task cooking as therapy. Chop vegetables with no audio. Knife rhythm becomes meditation. Mind resets. After dinner, decisions come easier because half-buried thoughts surfaced while onions diced. Silence can protect. Reputation. When rumors swirl, people rush to deny. A cautious pause lets truth reveal itself through other channels. Receipts, history, third-party witnesses. Speak too soon, and you feed fire. If a friend trauma dumps nightly, offer listening hour instead of constant messages. 1 hour phone call weekly, you mostly silent, they unload. Boundaries keep you sane. Focused silence helps them more than scattershot replies. Pilots. Review checklists in a sterile cockpit. No small talk below 10,000 feet. Borrow this for money decisions. Declare a sterile wallet rule during online shopping. No music, no snacks, just you and total price. Silence reveals impulse buys. Tell your calendar yes to fewer meetings by inserting quiet thinking blocks first. Colleagues book around them. You gain creation windows the always available crowd lacks. Public speakers rehearse in front of mirrors, but great orators rehearse in empty cathedrals, letting each word echo. Reverb forces slower pace, longer gaps. The audience later feels. Gravitas. If sleepless, try the 4-6-8 method. Inhale 4, hold 6, exhale 8. The extended exhale flips nervous system into rest mode. Silence of breath out is longer than in. That lull is where sleep begins. Negotiation tip. Write the final offer on paper, slide it across, lean back, fold hands. No words. Pen and silence weigh heavier than speech. Use morning pages, 3 longhand pages, stream of consciousness, no edits. Empty noise early so the day begins quieter. At parties, practice listener stance. Feet solid, shoulders squared but relaxed, eyes on speaker's eyes, mouth closed unless asked. People rave you are so interesting though you spoke little. Interest is often mistaken for being interesting. A photographer noticed better candid shots when he stopped shooting bursts and waited. Silence of shutter. Subject relaxes, true expression appears, one click captures it. Hum a single low note, feel chest vibrate. That resonance is inner quiet turning physical. Do it before difficult calls, cheap tuning fork. On social feeds, pause 2 seconds before like, share. Does this add signal or noise? Most clicks vanish. Your timeline calms. For exams, teachers gave students 1 silent minute before reading questions. Grades rose because cortisol fell. Brains accessed memory better. If colleagues overshare, respond with a gentle smile and silence. They'll often self-edit mid-ramble, sparing you from gossip trenches. During workouts, end sets with 10 seconds still hold, plank, wall sit. Teach muscles and mind to find ease inside strain. Silent gratitude. Before sleep, name 3 goods in head, no journal required. Mind files day is safe, lowering midnight wake-ups. Use read receipt quiet. After fiery text, mark message read, but wait. Sender sees red, wonders, cools down. When brainstorming, allow 5 minutes of open silence after initial ideas stall. Most breakthroughs rise in that void. Silence can feel like emptiness until you fill it with noticing. The heartbeat, the fluorescent hum, distant laughter. Attention turns blank into rich. Final story. A violin maestro taught a student struggling with rush passages. He said, "Play the rests louder." The student paused dramatically where rests fell. The piece bloomed. Life is the same score. Play the rests louder. When the world slams cymbals, answer with a gap so wide the next note arrives like sunrise over calm water. Your practice list for the next week. 3-second pause before replies. 20-word emails. 5-minute daily device-free sit. Grayscale phone. Silent porch swing or equivalent. 1 deliberate slow sip before tough answer. Repeat long enough and stillness stops being something you do. It becomes the atmosphere you carry. People breathe easier near you. Deals unfold smoother. Ideas land clearer. And the loud world, hungry for an anchor, quietly rearranges itself around the one who knows the weight of silence.